Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Sunday, July 10th, 2022. Yesterday, July 9th, Alaska was able to host the first ever Mr. T rally, and I was fortunate enough to attend. I got in line at 6:20 in the morning, despite having expedited entry tickets, just to make sure I would have a seat that I enjoyed, and thought I'd share that. So the other thing I did, just a second, I'm going to show you, was do a little searching and see if I could find a picture of myself that got into the mix. You're going to have to take me at my word. Can you see where my little arrow is here? That's me, 9 rows back, but most of the cameras focused this way when Mr. Trump was talking, Mr. T, excuse me. I shouldn't probably use his name. Okay. Now, I have a couple of questions I wanted to ask the cards tonight about that rally, that particular rally. There were some indications that we might have actually had the genuine Mr. T there. He showed up late. And typically when he shows up with the heightened security, it tends to give him a later start time. The more remote location that Alaska is meant that only local threats were probably a factor. There weren't people that could easily get in and cause mayhem, you know, or be in the vicinity. Another thing too is I think Mr. T misses the opportunities to speak to crowds and get their that enthusiasm and energy and love, that good vibe. And once he took the stage, he spoke for an hour and a half. In fact, even after he started to conclude, he started back up again, and he seemed like he didn't want to leave. And he shouldn't have. He had a very enthusiastic crowd. There was standing room only inside the building, and thousands were outside. And you have to remember that travel in Alaska isn't very easy. And we have a total population of under 1 million people. So to get that many thousands of people there for that event showed some support and enthusiasm. At least support for less corrupt administrations and the good old boy network, that kind of thing. So I want to ask the cards, was this genuinely Mr. T? Oh, also his stance tended to be the one that you see Mr. T having from the side and the back, that I don't think stand-ins work at mimicking as much as the gestures and the wording and things like that. He admitted he went off script numerous times because it was more fun. Used some colorful language that I don't know that a stand-in would have felt quite as comfortable using in his name. And another thing too, if you will look at close-up footage, one of the ways to tell Mr. T from his impersonators is in his left eye, he had, and I'm going to show my left, it'll look right to you, but there's a slight tick that happens. Now, you can mimic a lot of things, but mimicking a tick is something I have not yet seen anybody able to do. So let's see if he got his crowd fix. And yesterday we did indeed see the genuine article, Mr. T, at the rally. And then I want to layer in one little extension on that. And that is, during the talk, he mentioned still having some pride in that 9-month cure that his administration that he oversaw. I was surprised that he was mentioning it because it's a very controversial topic. But he speaks in code, and he said in the future he would be talking about that cure, that remedy. And I wondered if he was signaling that he is going to break open the narrative of what happened sabotage-wise and addition-wise to what was intended to be beneficial. If he was putting some evildoers on notice when he said that about he would be coming back to that topic in detail later. That's not his exact words, I'm paraphrasing it. Just so you know, you can watch the live footage and see what he said exactly. Okay, well, that's my question. Was it really Mr. T? And was he speaking in code about the cure and how he would be revisiting that topic and speaking about it in the future? Let's see what the cards have to say. Our first card, Six of Wands, Page of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Two of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, the Sun, Seven of Cups. Let's look at those cards. Now, we're not getting a hard yes with this answer, but we do have a victory card here with the asking, was this Mr. T, the real, most original version of Mr. T that's available to be there? And we have a victory card, and the Page of Swords is an interesting addition to that read. Because one of the things the Page of Swords can talk about is conveying as diplomatically as possible a message that's difficult to convey. And so let's take a look at that. Let's go on the assumption that we did have him enjoying one more return to the limelight in the safest possible large group setting that he's been able to enjoy in recent times. The Queen of Swords is our recent past. Now, pardon me, Queen of Pentacles. Now, she kind of, again, is one card that always indicates some security in process. So I think once they determined that it was as secure a group speaking situation as Mr. T was going to enjoy, while they had at least one other person there ready to go, I do think they went ahead and used him. Now, I also asked then about his kind of cryptic comments about the cure and how he would be talking about that later and in more detail. We have the Knight of Pentacles here, who's a very good, he's a military card. He's one of stability. And so his ducks are definitely in a row. And I do believe we're going to see that at some point, and here's my clarifiers, the ones aspecting it that make me think that. We have the Sun here, which is a really good energy. Often it indicates children. So, and we know that a lot of what the Alliance, the White Hats, myself, light workers, what our prime goal is to secure some safety for the path of humanity's children going forward, and hopefully to get us ready to take our place at the galactic table. So let's see what's going to happen. He's going to, I believe, be disclosing a lot of shenanigans that happened with his cure, and especially as regards what had that effect on children, future children, things like that. So I do think it is something he's going to be addressing in the future. Let's look at a few other cards and see if we get some more information about those two items. We've got the Empress, again, the loving maternal energy, the divine feminine, and of course, she's very, very concerned and loves all of Earth's children, just like we all should. We have the Lover's card, which is one often of balance and agreement. And again, we have the two choices. We've got the agreement and King of Swords. That's my Mr. T card, so he was there. Okay, and as we know, we've got a lot of work to do still. Okay, we have to right some wrongs and do what we can to help not just my country, and not the world, humanity, to grow and develop and make this world a safe place for our children. Okay, it's not just about one person. Okay, and their pros and cons and faults and strengths. It's not just about that. It's about humanity. And let's keep our eye on the big prize. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, that was one of my bucket list things, was to go to one of those rallies. And so I think the next thing on the list is an untethered hot air balloon ride. Let's see if I can make that happen at some point soon. Your time is so precious. Thank you for joining me. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, and I do appreciate every one of you that take a little bit of your precious time to see what I'm sharing. Thank you so much.